There's a line across Earth that controls almost everything. The weather, the seasons, where animals live, even where people can survive. You can't see this line, but its effects are everywhere. It's called the equator. The equator is not just some geography fact. It's one of the most important lines on our planet. It decides where the hottest places are, where rainforests grow, where deserts form, and where life is most diverse. And in this video, we'll show you exactly how this strange line controls so much of our world. From powerful winds and storms to the richest jungles and fastest growing countries. Let's start. What is the equator? First, let me explain what the equator actually is. Imagine cutting the Earth right in half, straight through the middle, like slicing a giant orange. That line you'd draw around the widest part of the planet, that's the equator. It's an imaginary line, which means you can't see it on the ground, but it's very real when it comes to how our world works. Why the equator is so important? You might be thinking, okay, cool, it's a long line, but why does it matter? Here's the secret. The equator controls how much sunlight different parts of Earth get, and that changes everything. The weather, the seasons, even where animals and plants can survive. Because of Earth's tilt, the sun's rays hit different places with different strength. But along the equator, the sun's rays hit almost directly all year long. That means it's hot, humid, and sunny almost every single day. In fact, on the equator, the days and nights are always the same length. 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness, no matter the season. That doesn't happen anywhere else on Earth. The magical tropics. But the equator isn't the only powerful line you should know about. There are two more special lines called the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. These lines sit about 23.5 degrees north and south of the equator. Why those numbers? Because Earth is tilted at about 23.5 degrees as it orbits the sun. That tilt is what gives us seasons and makes the tropics so important. The area between these two lines, from the Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn, is called the Tropics. And this region is truly like no other place on Earth. The tropics get the most sunlight, the hottest temperatures, and the least amount of seasonal change. It's where you'll find steamy rainforests, massive deserts, beautiful islands, and even snow-capped mountains, all inside this magical zone. How the tropics control our climate. You see, the tropics aren't just about beaches, palm trees, and exotic animals. This part of the Earth actually plays a huge role in controlling the planet's climate, including places far away from the equator. Because the sun shines so strongly near the equator, it heats up the air and the oceans more than anywhere else. That hot air rises high into the sky, carrying moisture with it. As the air cools, it forms clouds and rain. That's why tropical rainforests like the Amazon exist. But the story doesn't stop there. Once the hot air rises and cools, it spreads out toward the north and south, moving away from the equator. Around 2,000 miles from the equator, that air starts sinking back down to the Earth's surface, creating dry zones like deserts, global winds, and the jet stream. High up in the atmosphere, narrow bands of super strong wind called jet streams also steer weather systems around the globe. These winds are like invisible highways for storms, helping move them from one place to another. Even if you live far from the equator, what happens there can still affect your daily weather. The tropics, home to amazing life. There's another incredible thing the equator and tropics control, and that's life itself. Scientists have discovered that the closer you are to the equator, the more species of plants, animals, and insects you'll find. This is called species richness, and the tropics have the highest species richness on Earth. Why? It's simple. Warm temperatures and lots of rain all year long make it easy for plants to grow. That means animals have plenty of food and shelter, creating the perfect conditions for life to thrive. From the colorful birds of the Amazon rainforest, to the lions of African savannas, to the strange creatures hidden deep in tropical jungles, the tropics are bursting with life. And here's something to really think about. The tropics aren't just important for plants and animals, they're shaping the future of humanity too. Today, nearly half the world's people live in this region, and most of the world's children are growing up there. At the same time, the tropics are on the front lines of climate change. Rising temperatures, stronger storms, and more extreme weather are hitting these areas hard, making life more difficult for millions of people. How climate change is expanding the tropics. Here's something you probably didn't know. The tropics are actually expanding. Because of climate change, the hot tropical weather zone is spreading farther north and south. Places that used to have mild or cooler weather are now seeing hotter days, stronger storms, and more extreme heat waves, just like the tropics. This means deserts like the Sahara Desert are growing. Dry areas in Australia are getting even drier. Some scientists say that even parts of the subtropics, which sit just outside the tropics, are starting to feel like the tropics now. It's not just about heat. As the tropics grow, places can experience more dangerous storms, flooding, and food shortages. And many of the poorest countries in the world are right in these zones, making life harder for millions of people. It's not just beaches and rainforests. When people hear tropics, they often think about palm trees, sandy beaches, and tropical fruits. But the truth is, the tropics are much more than that. Inside the tropics, you'll find the world's largest rainforests, like the Amazon, huge deserts like the Sahara and the Australian outback, snow-capped mountains like Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa, wet, rainy areas with rivers overflowing during monsoon seasons, dry, dusty regions with barely any rain at all. That's why scientists say the tropics have some of the most diverse climates and landscapes on Earth. It's not just one kind of weather. It's everything from hot jungles to freezing mountaintops. And because of the rich conditions, the tropics also have the greatest number of plants, animals, and cultures anywhere in the world. The equator, the line that connects us. All at the center of all this is the equator, the invisible line that goes around the widest part of Earth. It may be just a line on a map, but its effects are massive. It's the equator that separates the northern and southern hemispheres, controls how the sun's heat is shared across the planet, creates the giant wind patterns that drive weather systems, shapes where rainforests, deserts, and savannas form, affects where animals and plants can survive, even helps decide where millions of people live. The equator, along with the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, helps create the world's climates. And those climates control everything, from your local weather to global food supplies. Why this matters for our future. Understanding how the equator and the tropics work isn't just for geography class. It's about understanding how the world works and how it's changing. The tropics are home to nearly half of the world's population, and that number is growing fast. These regions drive global trade, economy, and even culture, but they are also the most at risk from climate change, with rising sea levels, extreme heat, and stronger storms threatening millions of lives. So that strange line across Earth, it's not just a line, it's a reminder that we're all connected by the sun, the wind, the rain, and the planet we all share. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more simple, interesting facts about our amazing world.